In this set of lessons, we're going to look over how we can update our CSS using jQuery. So this provides a powerful visual way to update content for our web users. So within jQuery, we saw how we can easily update CSS by setting a property name and then adding a value to it. We can also work with classes as a whole. So we don't have to look at just CSS as property values to that element. We can add and remove classes. And this is all done really easily via jQuery. So let's open up our editor and clear out some of this content here from before and make some selections. So we need to select our elements, and just like what we've been doing previously, we can really easily select those elements that we want to utilize. So maybe we want to utilize all of the content that's available within the home section of our web page. So whenever we click on that particular, so maybe we'll just do a click. So whenever anybody clicks on home, then we're going to fire off the function to initiate changing all of the colors of the font to be red. So we've got the click function there, and we need to set up function there and set it up so now whenever home gets clicked, any part of home gets clicked, we can update some of that CSS that's available within there, and we'll select that current object and we'll update the CSS. So we can set the different values via properties and values just by saying CSS and selecting out the property that we want to update and then specifying the value that we want to add or set it as. So let's take a look at our web project right now and scroll up to home, and now whenever we click on home, we see that our text automatically goes blue. So this is just how easy it is that we can create these types of effects. We can also update it maybe to hover or something like that. So whenever we're hovering over it, so that it highlights a different color. And we can see that whenever we do the inspect here, we see we've got style, color, blue. And we can add additional properties as well. But sometimes it's a lot easier to do it as a whole. So if we want to add and update some particular classes, we can do that as well. So I'm going to create one class, I'm going to call it blue, and I'm going to call another one just, maybe we'll just do it red. So we have some contrast there between the different classes. So this one will have a background color. And doing it this way as well, it makes it a lot easier because you can actually see all of the different options here and just add styling as you normally would. So you don't have to worry about how it's going to look exactly within your jQuery, and it does make it a little bit simpler to do it this way. So again, depending on what you prefer, you could add remove classes, or you could add the styling, the inline styling, and update those as well. So instead of adding in this property here on it, let's take this, and I should save this as well, and we're going to just do an add class. And then here we just need to specify the class that we want to add. So I'm going to add a class of blue. So whenever we hover over it, and probably a better one than hover, so mouse, so maybe mouse enter will go blue, and whenever the mouse leave, we're going to go and set it back to red. So I can remove out that one and refresh it, and we'll see how this works out. So whenever we're hovering over it, and whenever we leave, it's not exactly working very smoothly. So whenever we go on top of it, it goes blue. Whenever we leave, it goes red, but it's actually not going back to blue. And so what's happening here is that we're adding in the class blue, we're adding in the class red, but we're not actually removing those classes. And that's why we're getting this kind of annoying effect where we do see it at first, but it only works the one time. So now when we leave, we've got both of those classes. So we need to do something else here where we actually remove out some of those classes. So let's and a good thing about jQuery, we already have a function to do that, where we can remove classes and remove red here. So this way, let's take a look at our project now and pay attention to what's happening within the class here. So whenever we're on top, it's blue. Whenever we leave, it's red. So it's actually updating the class that's available within the HTML, and we can see that now it's working a whole lot smoother. So you're probably wondering, well, what happens if I'm actually not sure of what it is, and we want to make this, we can actually simplify this, I should say. And jQuery has functionality to simplify all of this into a toggle mode. So it does understand that this is built in within jQuery, and we have the ability to toggle various values. So maybe in this case, we're going to use click, and the click will toggle through the different adding and the removing of classes. So we'll just do it like this, and instead of add class, we're going to do toggle. So now let's refresh this, and when I click it, it's after we save it, off and on, and now we can toggle the class as off and on. So we have that class of red, we can toggle them back and forth and so on. So this is a choice. We can either add, remove, specifying the classes, or we could toggle them. So whatever works best for the logic within your application. So in the next lesson, we're going to look at what we can do with jQuery. So we can add various effects and animations, and jQuery makes it so easy. So just like what we've seen over here, where we actually see the classes adding in and removing, jQuery can do quite a bit with your HTML, CSS, adding in various styling cues into your elements, and doing this mathematically, calculating them out, and you're going to see that it gets actually rendered out. So according to the different effects and animations that we're using, we're going to see some more things happening here within our HTML code. So that's coming up in the next set of lessons.